Last time, while on the subject of health, we spoke of the special emphasis that the mother places on what she calls the nervous envelope. This nervous envelope, we observed, is a layer enveloping the body between the physical body and the subtle physical body. It is based indeed on material conditions, circumstances, not on physical matter. On one side, material conditions, and on the other, psychological conditions. Built by both these is what is called the etheric body or the nervous envelope. For those who have the eyes to see, it looks something like steam. When a thing is being heated, it emits a certain vapor. And this vapor-like vibratory envelope is what surrounds our body. We noted that any attacks, any contacts from outside have to come through this nervous envelope, which Sri Aurobindo calls in the Life Divine as the circumconscient. Our contacts with the outside world have to pass through this barrier. And we noted that as strong as this envelope is, our immunity is that strong. If our psychological state is weak, negative, it bores holes through this nervous envelope and makes us vulnerable to any kind of attack, not necessarily of illness, but even of ill will and other negative movements in the atmosphere. After we dispersed last time, I was asked a question: what if, now that we know the nervous envelope and requirement that we should keep it intact by keeping out puncturing movements, it can be a question of taking precautions hereafter. But what if holes have been bored in our life, ignorant life, so long? Thought it was a very intelligent and a practical question. The answer is, even if things have been rendered liable to easy attacks, from now on, if we cultivate positive movements, develop our faith, and cultivate a robust attitude to life. Develop also a kind of don't care attitude to what happens to us. We are too much concerned about what happens. The holes are filled up because they are not physical holes. It is a subtle vibratory mode which responds to the conditions around, conditions within. So, by changing our angle, it is possible to make our nervous envelope healthy and strong. Before passing on to the next topic, I would like to invite questions. If people, friends here, have any questions arising from what we discuss, they can always be left on this table and they will be dealt with in the next session. We have spoken of health, what health means and what is it that assures health. Health, perfect, constant, unshakable, perpetually renewed energy. This is a topic on which Mother dwells from many points of view. But the central approach is that energy is not individual. There is a universal energy at work, and each one of us absorbs and expresses as much of that energy as one is capable of. There are techniques by which one opens oneself to nature energies. By attuning oneself to nature, physical nature, and letting oneself be instrumentalized by the energies of physical nature. But in the nature of things, these energies are fairly mixed, somewhat gross, nearer the animal nature, and one has to be careful. Mother points out that it is not that those who are pursuing the spiritual quest alone that need practice this attunement with nature. There are some who are born that way. They may be of any persuasion, but they always draw energies as are needed and are always successful in their objectives. They are always happy, maybe at any level, take things lightly, and always are cheerful. This is possible by developing an attunement to physical nature. But Mother prefers that instead of drawing energy from physical nature, we draw energy from above, which is pure, naturally inexhaustible, and it carries a different vibration that needs a discipline of receptivity, of opening oneself to the flow of the higher energies. And this is possible only by practice of yoga. Whether it is a question of physical energy or mental energy or spiritual energy, the one central governing truth is that the more we are generous in spending our energy, the more the supplies are poured into us. We observed that by being generous in our expenditure of energy, we don't mean we should dissipate our energy, but use it, spend it, expend it usefully for good purposes, right purposes. Mother always gives the example of children who play, who recklessly spend their energies, and very soon their energies are replenished. As one grows, that instinctive balance is disturbed because the mind interferes. The ego puts a barrier, erects a limitation, and we range ourselves against the whole universe. Naturally, the larger energies do not have a free access to us. So, enlargement of our consciousness, enlargement of our being is the first step. Selfishness limits us. Selfishness bolts the doors to universal supplies. That is why one who wants to grow in the higher dimension is asked to be selfless. To be selfless, to forget oneself. And in forgetting our little self, we discover our greater self. This is so far as energy, renewed energy is concerned. The next on Mother's program is eternal youth, constant growth, uninterrupted progress. We are now in an age when we no longer speak of youth in terms of the number of years that one has lived. Youth is more a question of the mental and the nervous disposition. Always to have a purpose in life, to have a quest, to have a consuming quest, which keeps our energies always in use, and a zest for work, zest for accomplishment, achievement. It is that which keeps one youthful. The physical age is immaterial for this purpose. That is why Mother insists that we must have an aim, a goal, And it is not one aim, not one goal, but a series of aims, a series of goals. One has to envisage an immediate goal, the next goal and this next goal and so on. So there is no letting up. There is no such thing as, yes, now I have done, I have achieved, and now I can rest on my oars. In Mother's dictionary, there is no word like rest. She said she never understood when people said that they want to retire or take rest. She said you should take rest in light, relax in light, and not in tamas. So the energies must be always kept moving. There must always be a purpose to which we have to harness our energies. And as long as this objective of progress is kept in mind, one is young. Progress is a very elastic term. Perfection, on which both Mother and Sri Aurobindo lay so much emphasis, is again a developing proposition. Perfection of today is not a perfection of tomorrow. It is a developing perfection. So once you have achieved a certain perfection, it should lead to the further perfection. And this is what is called eternal progress, making possible eternal youth. I quoted Sri Aurobindo last time or so that the only failures of God are souls that do not aspire. If you want to live, if you want to grow, you have to aspire for whatever. Not necessarily aspire for God, but aspire for perfection. And ultimately, in whatever sphere you build your perfection, it is God that grows. Perfection is a movement of God. This positive emphasis on the aim of life, the objective of life, makes one always healthy, youthful, and never feel old. Old is when you feel you have done. You have nothing more to do. You give up. You do what you call relax. Relax in the sense that you give up effort. So, to put it in other language, youth depends upon the intensity of effort that you put in any sphere of your choice. It may be music, it may be art, it may be poetry, it may be technical sphere, it may be yoga. But the zest with which you pursue, pour yourself entirely in the pursuit, that is what is called endless progress. And then is the next item, the sixth item. We have covered perfect consciousness, integral knowledge, invincible power, perfect health, eternal youth, and and perfect beauty, complex and total harmony. Mother was, right from her childhood, a great lover of beauty. Of course, beauty for her does not mean only physical appearance, but beauty is many-sided, of which the physical expression, the contours of form, is only one side. There is a beauty of form, beauty of thought, beauty of feelings, emotions, beauty of being, harmony. In her language, beauty is constituted essentially of harmony. It is only when all the constituent units or elements of a situation or of an object are perfectly harmonized that there is the appearance of beauty. A living coordination, a vibrant harmony that produces beauty. And beauty is an expression of delight. The form of delight is beauty. And there is an aesthetic beauty, mental beauty, intellectual beauty, spiritual beauty. Somewhere there is mention that even in what we dub as ugliness, there is a certain beauty. We don't have the eye to see it. It is only a beauty in our perception that can appreciate beauty in others. Something that is new at every moment, it changes. That is beauty. Beauty is not static. It is not something stationary, permanent. It goes on emanating vibrations. Even a picture, a painting, say, hung on a wall, a picture of beauty. But when you look at it, the vibrations it gives at the first minute, are they the same at the fourth minute or the fifth minute? If it is a real picture of beauty, they are not. They develop. As you see, something deeper awakens in you, and you begin to see something more than what you perceived at the first touch. Beauty is dynamic. Beauty is present in an object to the extent that there is a perfect proportion among the constituent factors, features, and at the source there is joy. The artist who has drawn the picture, he must have felt that delight. delight of creation, delight of expression. And that delight which inheres in his product strikes you as something beautiful. That is why the soul of beauty is called delight. Ananda is the soul of beauty. For one who has that experience of delight, joy, all looks beautiful. In the moment lives of each one of us, there are moments when everything looks beautiful. That depends upon our inner condition. It opens some new eye and you begin to see that there is beauty. Beauty at all levels of nature, all levels of existence. So this wider conception of beauty, which has been sketched, outlined in the Indian science of rhetorics, aesthesis, to an extent that has not been done in any other culture, is at the base spiritual. That is why the beloved of gods, the beloved God, is spoken of as Sundara, beautiful. He doesn't have a fair skin. Lord Krishna doesn't have a fair skin. He is certainly not a perfect example of manhood, but there is an ethereal beauty about him which cannot be defined, which cannot be contained in descriptions. So in this sense, beauty cannot be defined. It can only be experienced. When you start analyzing it, when you start dissecting it, it is broken. A life which has a goal, which is led according to a upward discipline, lived from an inner base, reaching for unity, God in oneself and God in others in the world. That's a living beauty. Ugliness, uncouthness, these are reverse of beauty. And Sri Aurobindo has described how Mahalakshmi, the goddess of beauty and harmony, will not linger where there is ugliness, meanness, and violence. So beauty is a concept which each one of us realizes and expresses in the manner of the evolution of our consciousness. There is a beauty of sound. There is a beauty of sight. There is a beauty of feeling. And ultimately, if you analyze things, you will find that only those things have perennial beauty which link us to the source of beauty in ourselves. And that is the psychic. The psychic being, the inner soul, is naturally prone to beautiful moments, to things of beauty. It responds, it vibrates where there is beauty. Beauty of a child, beauty of the sunset, the ocean, a cloudless sky. These are all enough to strike into the custodian of beauty, which is the psychic. So the appreciation of beauty is very near. Sensitivity to spiritual life, to spiritual values. I hope next time we will have better luck and there will be enough of light next time.